So Roblox released another Wonder Woman event, and already it's not looking that good. And you can already tell where I am right now, for those that are old-time fans of Roblox, or at least was in the last Wonder Woman event. Yes, last Wonder Woman event, because they did a Wonder Woman event a while back in this game. And while it was definitely not the best event game, it still had a pretty good area when it comes to a map to go around, and there's plenty of stuff to look at and plenty of places to go and explore. But they released this Wonder Woman event for the new movie that's coming out, and it's literally in the same game. And while I don't think it's the worst idea, I just find it very lazy. Because a lot of events, a lot of times events are fun because they take you to a game that you might never have played before, and provide plenty of new stuff to look at, and feature many new mechanics for people to play around with. And so this doesn't help me when form an opinion on the event, because it's already not looking good, because it's in a game that I've already been in, and I didn't really have a good experience with, because of a lot of connection issues, and just very laggy servers, and people taking their kills, and grinding spots. It was just very ridiculous. And so, for this event, you have to go all the way to this portal and talk to these two NPCs. They give you quests that mainly revolve around the obby challenge. One of them requires you to beat the obby, and one of them gives you challenges to conquer. Essentially, one of them says, oh, beat the obby in under 30 minutes, beat the obby in under 25, and they'll keep giving you quests like that, and you'll get more rewards as you keep completing them. So, I thought, okay, that's actually pretty good. I'm already liking this event a bit better than the last Wonder Woman event, simply because I've always been a longtime fan of obbies. So, how can anyone screw up an obby? Nothing could possibly. No one could screw up an obby. Well, I'm pretty sure this game did. This event is the pinnacle of very, very terrible obbies, and I can easily say that without stuttering, because there's so many things in this obby that drive the rage out of people, and it's not the event's fault. But okay, it is the event's fault, because they designed this obby. They added this to the game because it wasn't in the original Wonder Woman event. The original Wonder Woman event was a fetch quest of some sort, and that was tedious as hell, and it was not fun at all. And so what did this game do? They thought, okay, let's create more of a challenge for Roblox event players. Let's provide a challenge that many of them can relate to, and so let's choose to add an obby challenge. Let's not repeat what we did last time. Let's not make it a fetch quest. That would be a terrible idea, and I admit, if they did another fetch quest sort of thing, I definitely would put this event up. But seeing as it was an obby, I figured, okay, it's not going to be that hard. It's going to be pretty easy. It's not going to require too much skill and too much anger. It's simple. But the thing that really made me confused was why some of the challenges involved having to spend 30 minutes to beat the obby. Oh, that kind of confused me, and I was thinking, oh, they're probably making it a bit too easy, because 30 minutes, that's quite a long time to spend in an event game. And as you can see, so far the obby isn't too bad. It's not that challenging yet, and it has very simple core elements of an obby. Like there's the spinner, and you have fallen platforms, and then they combine it a bit, and it's overall not that bad. But I'm telling you, it gets worse, because this is a way to mask how awfully bad the event gets towards the end of the obby, and I cannot wait to tell you why. It just really put a sick feeling in my stomach for wasting over 30 minutes trying to get through this obby. And I'm very good at obbies, even though I've died plenty of times already in this video, but I'm fairly good at obbies compared to the average Roblox player, and this event, it doesn't bring out the kind of fun regular obbies would bring out. And yes, it has plenty of cool aesthetics and has a lot of cool features that I don't really see in typical obbies. But one flaw that stood out to me right away is the fact that there's player collision. Now, I don't see why the heck that's necessary, because player collision just makes this an absolute hell. And it's pretty much ruins the experience already, because you would have people that are trying to rush the obby, and then they would end up pushing you, and then they would make you glitch and fall right off, and overall it just does not work. And that's the thing, it's such a shame, because the obby itself is actually not too bad, and like the design, I can't help but compliment it, because it's rather interesting, and the textures all match up pretty well, and it has the Wonder Woman vibe in a way, but really, an obby, I mean, it's fun, but it's not exactly the type of event that I would incorporate when thinking of a Wonder Woman event. I mean, it's better than the freaking fetch quest that we had to do in the last Wonder Woman event, because that was just pure torture, and it certainly did not get any better as the event went on. But this event, oh my god, this event, it takes that kind of fetch quest sort of event, and it just multiplies it to the point of being even more torturous. And the reason why is because there are many flaws and errors in the actual obby itself that cause the obby to be very unenjoyable, and very tedious, and very just overall time consuming. It wastes so much time of your day. And yes, the first event was literally a very tedious and long process to get all the items and spend all of your coins to get all the items. But it didn't induce rage. It just required a lot more patience. But with this event, you're timed. You have to be able to beat this very challenging obby in under a certain time limit in order to get the rewards that you need. Now, you may think, yeah, this obby doesn't look that bad. You're doing just fine right now. I mean, yes, you're dying a few times, but you seem to be making significant progress. It's only been 5 minutes in the obby, and you're probably halfway through. And yes, I am halfway through, but that's not the point. Half of the obby is pretty easy, while the other half is pure torture. You see this part I'm on right now? That third spinner, when I first did this event, I beat the obby, but when I tried doing it again, this third spinner was gone. It wasn't there. For some reason, after spending a little bit of time in the server, that spinner was gone. And there was literally no way for anyone to be able to complete the obby, and so people would have to leave, or probably rage quit. And that's essentially what I did, because as soon as I saw that third spinner wasn't there, I knew that it was not a good sign, and that was not supposed to happen. And just seeing that already set me off, because typical Roblox events, they don't really have too many errors. I mean, it would probably have minor errors that would kind of affect the game in a very minor way, but it wouldn't be so bad as to make it so that the event is unplayable and thus unenjoyable. And this event, it pretty much takes all that and says, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it very unenjoyable and very tedious. And it's such a shame, because the design of the obby is not the worst. It has a lot of good implementations that would allow the obby to be very creative. But as you get to the end, the obby just gets so torturous and so hard that it's just not worth even playing after beating it once, because it literally took me over 35 minutes just to beat it once, and that's because I just got lucky, very lucky, with the very last part of the obby. And you haven't seen it yet, but this is all easy stuff right now. And if you can see very far away over there, the end is all the way over there, that blue tiny speck all the way over there. That's the end goal, and yeah, I've gone pretty far already. It's only been 7 minutes and 29 seconds. And it's not the worst. It's not the worst yet. It's all fair and easy. You die a few times, and it can get frustrating from here to a certain point, but it's not bad. like all these jumps, they're not the hardest jumps I've ever made in my life, yet I'm failing them very easily. But it's over there that just makes me so mad, to the point of actually making a YouTube video on it. Because I'm not the typical Roblox YouTuber. I usually focus more on actual video games. I mean, well, Roblox is a video game, but I usually focus my videos more on Sony games, like Dark Souls and all that other jazz. But and those are the fun kinds of games, and I've enjoyed them. Roblox is kind of like a side thing to me, and it's a lot of fun. But when you have events like these that just push out that anger so much to the point of actually making a video on it, it's unbelievable. Now, this is the part that set everyone off. This right here. And I'll demonstrate it, and if I somehow get it on the first try, I'll be very shocked. So this part right here isn't the worst, because you have to just make the jumps and in a certain way. Now, as you can see, I was shaking my camera like this, and the reason why is because if you don't shake the camera, when I first played this obby, I couldn't even make this jump. Like, I'll just show you like what I do. See, if you don't even do anything, you can't even possibly make that jump. And maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe you're not supposed to shake your camera like that. But I started experimenting, and as soon as I jumped and started turning the camera like that, look at that! I made so much more progress. And maybe you have to move your mouse in a specific way, but I'm not sure. Look at all the distance I made. And that right there set me off so much, because I had no idea how to do it, and then when I finally figured it out, I thought it was so annoying and so convoluted. And this jump alone has wasted over 20 minutes of my time, just because I had to time it so I would land on the old platform. And just, that's time like right about now. And look, it was still a bit late. And it just made my blood boil. It made me very angry. Now, remember, this is practically my second or third attempt at this, because the first time I beat it in like 35 minutes, and the second time, that the third spinner that was back there glitched for me, and I ended up giving up halfway. And so I might it might take me a while, but look, that's how you make the jump, and I'm not kidding, it's very hard, and there's probably a way easier method of doing it, like, oh my, see? Okay, that jump is the worst jump in this hobby. When you land on it, for some reason, unlike this spinner, you just tend to slide a bit more and walk right off, and it's really annoying. And it just, if I recorded my first attempt at this, just to show you how much time it took me to even make this jump, and then having to try to make that second jump, is unbelievably long, and it was so much. There's just so much work required to do it, and like I said, it's such a waste of potential, because this hobby is so creative and it has many unique features that I quite enjoy. But this part I'm doing right now is just so unnecessary. Right there, I did it, and you may think, okay, it took him 11 minutes to do it, when he said he had been in under 30 minutes at first. So this is not that bad, but my god, I need to tell you what happened in the first server I was in. Just because I spent so much time on that obby, the obby started glitching, and then the game would like freeze occasionally, and then like the spinners would glitch, and when you try to jump the time to land on it, sometimes the spinner would teleport, and then you would fall right off. And then there are times when people would get in your way, and because of those collision problems, it would just make the event so much worse than it should be. And I guarantee you, if they didn't have collision, and if they spent more time with the obby to fix those errors, this event would actually have been a lot better. But you can tell, for those of you that actually spent the time to play this and participate in this event, I'm sure you're aware of how annoying this was. I mean, plenty of you have figured out the strat for it, and I'm pretty sure there's like a way easier way to do that rope part, besides turning the camera like this. That was just an improvised strategy I randomly came up with. But in all seriousness, this has been one of the most unenjoyable Roblox events that I've ever had to play. And it's really a shame because I love Roblox events. And just playing one that just doesn't meet to my expectations, it's just very sad. They have so much time to work on it, and then they release it with this many issues, and it's such a shame. And you can tell it was getting very bad because I even started encountering hackers in the game. Literally, at one point while I was doing the rope part, I was attempting that last jump, and you don't want to know how many times I did attempt it. And at one point, there was a hacker that just flew right up to my face and just stared at me, just literally thinking, yeah, you wish you were me, being able to fly through this lobby without having to worry about failing the jumps and wasting time. But that's the thing, if your event is so unenjoyable to the point where people would have to resort to hacking the game and just flying right through the lobby, you know something is wrong, and you know something is up. I'm not sure if they fixed anything, because it seemed to run a lot smoother, but I think that's only because there weren't as many people in the server, because there were so many people in the first server I was in. But overall, this event has been one of the worst ones this year, I gotta be honest. I mean, people can say what they want about many of the other events that I'm not gonna mention, but this one alone has gotta be the laziest and most poorly written event, just because of that the terrible obby. And in my opinion, if they made the obby a bit better, I honestly would have rated it higher. I would have definitely put it a bit higher when it comes to rating the event, but even still, it would be one of the lowest on my score, or on my grading sheet of Roblox 2020 events, or Roblox events in general. But anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to make the video on. And yes, I know, once again, I don't typically make Roblox videos, and I'll eventually go back to what I'm used to, and making Sony videos, uploading more compilation clips. But if you enjoyed, subscribe, like, do all that stuff, and hopefully Roblox fixes this issue that's in this game, because it's just such a shame that such a very creative hobby has so many flaws. But yeah, look at this, the reward for the second part of the challenge. Boom. But anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you.